It was a season where records were broken, hearts were won, new heroes emerged while the old ones renewed their golden touch. It was indeed the death ball magic that did the double on getting the shining shield. That fought for 120 minutes plus, scored 8 penalties to then go down against a worthy opponent. They are out, but it's not the end. It's yet again a new chapter that Des and his Blue Army will want to keep rewriting. No, I am not here giving you some wisdom on my poetry skills. Definitely not. And in case you are wondering, yes, it's very much the Total Indian Football Show, and I'm your host, Suju. And today, if you were here witnessing us, we are straight out of the studio. It's a full house, I must say, including my producer and sound engineer, who has to probably have a punishment. He's standing all along this show. But let me introduce the Despol's Blue Army here, the West Coast Brigade. We have 3 of them. Definitely, we couldn't fit all of them in this room. But we have Shannon, we have Samar, and we have Ashish. But hey, we also have one more person who you always see on Matchday Lives for Mumbai City FC, of course. He's also a podcast host himself. And I think I have a co-host on the show as well, Amogh. Welcome to all of you. This is the Total Indian Football Show and the best podcast out there, for sure.
Hello.
Amogh.
I mean, you're saying best podcast out there, and I agree, even though I run a football podcast myself. I'm going to have a chat with my podcast co-host saying, listen, Siju said this about our podcast. She thinks she's the best podcast. We need to up our content game. But yeah, man, great to be here. Great to be here with these boys as well. Of course, we meet at the stadium all the time. It's lovely to be here at the end of the season.
I would only say that it's the best podcast and only in front of you. I wouldn't say that to anyone else, but that's the fun about it, right? But Samar, since you have the mic, and go for it. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, what are you looking forward to on this episode?
Oh man, look, I'm still reeling in from the loss, so I think it's going to be like a grieving process for me here. Few tears and maybe a little sad story here and there, but mostly good, happy stories about how the season's been for us, and we still have a lot to play for. We still have the Champions League qualifier and the Super Cup. So it's not over yet, as you said, but we still have a lot of things to look forward for.
Yeah, I thought the reason I asked that question also is I thought somebody would say clap hands or say something about my poetry. But anyway, it's okay. It's fine. I get it. Let's move on. Shannon, let me start with, I know to all our listeners, we've recorded this right after both the knockouts are done. Yes, Mumbai City is not in the final, but they are the league winners. They won the shield, the beautiful shining shield once again. And you were there in Goa when it was confirmed that they are the winners, right? And tell us our experience, because I think that match also kind of summed up the entire season, because the season is also about the comeback story that Mumbai City have done, because they've gone a lot of games away, especially down, and then come back. So what was it like for you to take that road all the way down there and then to see the team come back from being, I think, 2 goals down?
Correct.
What was that like?
So, to be honest with you, I think it was scripted by fate, if I must say, because we were at the airport when Odisha played Hyderabad, and they ended up defeating Hyderabad. And that's when all the boys, we were almost entering the plane on our way to Goa, and we started celebrating in the plane itself, saying that, this could be the game where we seal off the shield. So a lot of expectations going into that game. And if I'm again being honest with you, when Goa scored that first goal, there was a moment of silence in the stands, all of us wondering whether this is the day where we actually seal it for the team. And then comes 70th minute where we've almost sealed it, and then the chants of, the famous Champione chant coming. So, it's a surreal feeling, and to be able to witness it right from the stand, seeing the boys celebrate. Post-game, they came right up to the stand, waving their hands off to us, and, so it's a wonderful feeling.
Ashish, what's the season been like for you? Because I think in one of our off-the-record conversation, you've also meant that when you called on the show saying that I'm not been there since inception as a fan with the club, but at the same time, what got you hooked on apart from being a football fan, and how do you sum up the season?
So, yeah, I have been following Mumbai City since inception, but I joined the West Coast Brigade a little late on. So this season, it's been a dream run. Winning every game after game, week after week, every single game. It's been crazy, and especially to witness all of these games at the arena with the crowd chanting throughout, like no matter what the result is, how the game is going, we're loud and proud throughout. So yeah, like even I was in Goa with Shannon for that 5-3 victory, and I can't explain that feeling, man. Goosebumps right from that 72nd minute when we started chanting Championes. And yeah, after that, it's not much to talk about after that, but still great season overall with the Shield as well.
Amog, more than a fan, you're also an insider, one part of the team as well, because you took all the fans across for the match day lives and you were quite out there. But how was it like for you personally? And also, I personally like the interactions you had with Coach Des as well. Of course, I just like him a lot.
So do I. Get in line, Siju.
Yeah.
Handsome man that he is. The long line of
Yes,
admirers.
absolutely, yeah. But anyway, let's come back to the point of how has it been, because you're closely associated with the team, right? And to have that personal interaction with players, with coaches, and also with the fans. With that perspective, seeing a team up so close, and that's one. Second, cherry on the cake, brilliant season, right?
Yeah.
How do you sum it up for us?
I think firstly, I'm very, very privileged to be in this position because, again, like Ashish, I haven't been a fan of Mumbai City from the inception. I've always supported Mumbai City because I'm a Mumbai boy, but I haven't really been following the team from like the early on seasons. And these guys, the West Coast Brigade, have been there from the start. So for me to be in the position that I'm in right now is frankly a position of a lot of privilege, and I'm very, very happy, and I'm very, very honored that the club also thinks that I can do that job. And hopefully the fans also love me. But it is fantastic to be in that position because, like I said, I am a Mumbai boy, so no matter what happens, this is the team that I will always support in this league. And to be able to be so close to the inner workings of the club, to be able to chat with Des every month starting this season, to also interact with the fans on every game day is an absolute pleasure because you get to see all the perspectives that the fans have about this team. You get to share the love that they have for this team, and you get to bond with them for that because that love is common. So it's been a fantastic season this season. I think last season was the first time I started doing these pre-match lives, and last season was not as good as this one, but to see the team play so well this season's been an absolute joy.
I mean, definitely this is like a fans episode because you guys are here, so you all are the primary key stakeholders. Yeah, I'm giving importance to fans for a change. But how has it changed even for the perspective of Mumbai City FC? For me, it was back in 2014 when I started working and everything. And then slowly we had Mumbai FC back then, right? So that's just something I was very close attached to. Like, you're same here, like, he's from Bombay, so am I. Born brought up here. I love the city. So when Mumbai FC came into picture, I'm like, even as a journalist, I had this season hold pass. And I would sit on the F block, we were called the Yellow Brigade, the OG Yellow. Team in yellow. After that, it's been kind of it's never been that way. You're like, your ISL came in, fair enough, you have a team now, Mumbai FC shut, but still there was nothing close connection. We always spoke about it. I think even the ones from the team back then we used to have a chat like, how do you think we can connect? I think the point is about, we need in Mumbai, I think we need more than a club playing in the top league. That's one, because it's a huge responsibility on one team to get the whole of Bombay. It's mini India. Right?
Yeah.
But coming to in the past couple of seasons, I think also winning has helped, right? From the Sergio Lobera era. Yeah. Sucks to be in the lockdown, right? In that bubble of where they did both, and what a season that was. But I think what Des and his team has managed to do is kind of capitalize on it and even continue. So this time around, it was with the fans. Yeah. Tell me, each of you can take time and say your match day experience, because that's something I saw a very big change in with regards to engaging with the fans.
Yeah. I think match day experiences, even when we used to play in DY Battle, they were the same match day experience, the activities and sort of the timeline was the same. You go first and you get drunk, you get hammered as much as you can, as cheap as you can, and then you start walking in towards the Suns. Hopefully catch Amogh there and try to ruin his pre-match charcha. But, it's the connection that we've built amongst ourselves that's been more organic than obviously the club winning. We sit at a very common place at KC, which is right next to the stadium. And my first proper season, I remember we used to.
Would you want to tell our listeners? Because I'm assuming there are other parts
Oh,
of the
yeah.
fans also listening to this.
Yeah.
What is KC?
KC is Kamal Chaya. That's our local bar. I hope my mom doesn't listen to this podcast. But yeah, so I remember my first proper season. We used to be like 10 regular people there. Now I go and we don't have enough space for all of us to sit. Sometimes we have to leave because there are like 50, 60 of them chanting and people are complaining downstairs. But you know, it's been growing and it's been more organic. Obviously, winning helps because you get people in. But as and when more people just see, damn, okay, that's what the West Coast Brigade is doing. That's what the fans are doing. I've never seen that in Indian football. It starts growing more and more, you know. So for me, that match day experience has it's been the same experience, but just amplified in sort of intensity over the years, and that's been great for us, you know.
So, firstly, I'm not part of the KC gang. So, in case my family is watching this, no, I don't go there. But no, but on a serious note, I think a lot of credit also to the club for the way they kind of make the fans feel on match day. I've never seen. I've been to so many away games now, and to have a live band play at a stadium, to have these games set up, for fans, these mini games that are set up. So many things that the club is doing from their perspective, and I think that's really something that attracts young fans to the stadium. And apart from that, I think a lot of credit to even I haven't been with the WCB since its inception, but a lot of credit to what these boys at the WCB have been doing, because I remember I came to the first Mumbai City game, I think season 5, as a journalist to cover the game, and that's when I saw this enthusiastic group of youngsters screaming their hearts out, chanting. After which I inquired about who they were, and that's when I realized this is what WCB is. So I think that's what got me attracted to WCB. So I think that is something that really has changed over time, and I only see the WCB as a group growing and just doing better in terms of pandering to all the fans and just making sure that we have a great experience.
For me, I started watching Mumbai City play in the second season. That was also DY Patil, the Chetri days. So yeah, I did watch a couple of games, but not with the WCB. Unfortunately, I did not know about WCB back then. So skip 2-3 years later in the arena, I was at I don't remember which game, but I was one of the games, and I saw this stand full of supporters and chanting, having a blast. That's when I inquired about, like, what's this? How do I get to that stand? And that's how I got added. And I think it's great for Indian football and the fan culture, because I'm pretty sure we do have lakhs and crores of football fans in India, but unfortunately they're not Indian football fans. They're following European football, United, Liverpool, all of that. So this, what fan clubs like WCB help with, is to also make those fans watch Indian football, watch the ISL, the I League, national football games, and that's great for Indian football. That's the way to go, I think. And yeah, as long as match day activities are concerned, Shannon talked about how the club is engaging with the fans on match days with live bands and activities before the games. We go 2 hours early to welcome the team bus with flares and chants, and that just helps the group to help, like, connect within ourselves, and that's absolutely beautiful.
Amogh, to ask you, like, I was serious when I called you the co-host, so you can also take the banter up to ask questions, right? But let's come down to business. We've spoken about the perspective of how the engagement. Let's talk about the on-field performance now. What do you think, was it too much of pressure when Des came in? Because he was taking from Lobera, and there was already a lot of expectations because he's been part of the A-League. Experience counts, because there he was the assistant coach and they won there as well, the Melbourne City FC. Just to plug in, we have a Melbourne City FC community manager on the show as well, so you can go check it out, that episode. But coming back here, so how did, when Des came to the picture, what was your expectation, and did you expect this to happen? Like, the way he's kind of gathered the team, the players that were there, it looks like a big happy family.
It does. And when he came in, of course, there was pressure, and I'm sure he must have felt a little bit as well, although he wouldn't have ever shown it, because he's just the coolest, most composed person I have ever met. And yeah, I mean, following Sergio Lobera is no mean feat, like it's going to be a lot of pressure. But I felt like he was always going to be successful with this team. It would have taken a little bit of time, which his first season was that. because you can't expect immediate success from a new coach, from a new system. But owing to the fact that he was somebody who came from within the CFG system, as a fan, I was kind of I was not worried, because CFG knows what they're doing, especially when it comes to the technical side of things. So I knew that it was only a matter of time before he would make sure that his philosophy, his playing style was implemented to the T in this team. And that first season under Des was the bedding in period, I felt. And we had some good performances in that season as well. So when we got a good preseason from the squad outside of the bubble, we had the Champions League run as well. So we got more time with the squad. As soon as the season started, this ISL League season started, you could see that the players were now fully invested in his style, in his philosophy. And no matter what happens, no matter what the situation in a game is, they never let go of that philosophy. Like even the Goa game, the first goal goes in, and I spoke to Des about this as well. My wife and I were watching the game. Goa score an early goal, and my wife is looking at me like, "Oh no, what's gonna happen now? You guys are screwed." And I'm like, "No, it's fine. It's an early goal. There's a lot of the game still to be played, and this team has what it takes to turn it around." And as soon as that goal went, and you guys were at the stadium, you could also tell like there was no panic. You never saw any panic from the players. They just went about their business. There was that swagger, there was that confidence that this is fine. We'll score 5. They knew it. So that is what Des brings to this team. He brings a lot of calm. He brings a lot of composure. And now that this group of players is fully invested in this philosophy, I think it's onwards and upwards.
If you see last year as well, the Des's announcement, it came really late into the season as well, because it took all of us by surprise, because it's so late into the season. And then they go, oh, Lobera's gone, bye-bye.
Yeah.
And so, he didn't have a lot of time with the squad in terms of recruitment. You saw a lot of the players were already signed. He didn't have a lot of time in pre-season. He didn't have... And every interview that he gave last season, you could see that he did not want to implement his philosophy completely, because he kept saying, we want to, follow and continue what Lobera did with the squad, which makes sense because, he had the same players. Most of the players were his. So, this season, he had a longer preseason. He had more time to sort of recruit. Obviously, coaches don't fully recruit players, but, he has more time to tell the staff, tell the recruitment team what he needs.
Yeah.
And all of that with the fact that he's one of maybe the best man manager in the country right now and best tactical manager as well. Yeah. You could see the developments they were making from last season. You see the first game against Goa and you see the way they play, and guys like Rainier and all are looking geniuses, and suddenly Rainier gets dropped the next season. So these are big calls to be made, and he made them. Yeah. And I mean, I guess it paid off, obviously. Even the Shield, I guess it pays off. So the longer period that he has, the more trust and everything, I think really goes a long way to help Des become the manager he is right now. Yeah.
In terms of big calls also, there was, I forget which game it was, but there was a game where he played Vinith Rai at left back this season.
Yeah.
What a big call that was. And I remember seeing the team sheet, I was like, what? What? And you have Sanjeev Stalin, you have Vignesh, you have Mandar, and 3 very good left back specialists in that position.
Yeah.
And you're playing Vinith Rai there. But it worked out. He scored a banger.
He scored the best goal I've seen live, maybe.
So it was. He knows how to make these tough calls and make them work.
Exactly.
So I think we trust him. Like in Buckingham, we trust.
Yeah.
I think it's that trust factor, right? When the coach puts it, nobody does. I think for the player, that's what matters, right? And for Vinith Rai, also the journey he's had, a good player. He's not a bad player, but with Odisha, things happen. He got loaned out, I think, and then Mumbai City, and then suddenly he's into a team which is like, Mike, will I ever get to play? Exactly. And then there's like, go for it. Yeah. And then there you go, right? So even I'm sure even that was the attitude when he took the penalty also, when he took the penalty against BFC. So, but yeah, let's come back to talking about, like I mentioned, my first opening line was records are broken, right? And yes, definitely, I think, I don't know, it was Tushar or somebody else who tweeted saying how Mumbai City were flexing the 14-day gap that they had with the records that they put out. So it made my life easier because I just have to look at it and, throw some numbers out there and say, hey, that's my research. But I mean, the longest unbeaten run, a lot of things, even a stat as we may feel very futile, but when I say this plus 33 goal, the difference, and also 33 most first half goals scored in a single Hero ISL season. I mean, I did witness that because of the home games. I remember how 4-0, 3-0, in 20 minutes, my match was over.
Yeah.
And then you're like, what do I do for the rest of the match now? Can we just go and probably chill now because the match is done? Either ways, whether BFC wins or not, we'll never forget the 4-0 at home. In 20 minutes, like 15 minutes, the match was over.
The Kerala game.
So it was insane.
I think that was one of my favorite games because it was Blasters.
No, I was talking the Bengaluru FC one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but go for it.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that the Blasters game was one of my favorites because that was the first game that I convinced my wife to come for.
Oh.
So for the entire season, she was like, listen, you'll go there, then you'll be doing the live and all. I'll have nothing to do, so I'm not going to come and all. Then I said, listen, it's Blasters, it's at home. You have to come. Like this, if there is one game you have to watch, this is the one. So then my brother-in-law also came, and there was like 3-4 people who came. And there was lots of banter in the stands with the Mumbai and the Kerala fans. So that was lovely to see. Metro this way is an absolute favorite.
Oh my God.
Absolute favorite. Like I've got that on video. Plus 4 goals in the first 20 minutes. So you got to see 4 great goals. A dog invaded the pitch. So everything happened. Like that was like the complete experience. So that was fantastic.
Yeah, completely blasted off. What a blast, right?
What a blast.
But to come back, I mean, the whole records and everything, right? I mean, as fans, expectation is one to have, okay, we want to win whenever you go out there. But this run,
I think a lot of it was also from the AFC Champions League. We picked off so well at that stage, and then followed by recruitments that came in during that window. You see a Greg Stewart, who was the previous most valued player, come into the squad. You see a Roston Griffiths, who's had so much of experience in the A-League, come in. So somewhere deep down as fans, you've seen that positive run in the AFC. You've seen good recruitments. You know what his philosophy is like. Most importantly, the trust that he's placed in the young players. And all of it leads to expectations. And I think that's what we expected as fans. But, to look at each game, and I think even Des keeps mentioning in his press conference, is that he never looked at it as, 5 games unbeaten or 10 games unbeaten, 15 games. He looked at it at every game. And I think that's what we did as fans. We won the game, move on to the next. And as soon as time passed, it was 18 games unbeaten. And that's when we realized, this is where we stand now.
Yeah.
And I think that's the amazing thing about Indian football. This love that we as fans, it comes so unexpectedly at moments that you least expect. So I think it's a great feeling.
yeah, that I can agree to. Indian football and unexpected things, unexpected happy moments, that is definitely a big W there.
Yeah.
But I think that's why, when you talk about recruitments, even before you spoke, Amogh, I cannot not talk about recruitment and then we can't just breeze to the next point without talking about Sujay Sharma, right? I mean, the brain like him, we've seen him in the past. He was right there. He won it with Hyderabad.
Yeah.
And we've all been talking about Hyderabad since Manolo has come in. And we still talk about what a team that they've built over there.
Yeah.
Some players have gone scattered, but still they've managed,
Yeah.
So I think that was the biggest recruitment to get Sujoy onto the Mumbai City side.
I honestly do think so because he's been recruited in a very important role. So I think that's where it all begins. And again, like that is the reason why the City Football Group is so good at what it does, because their recruitment is top notch, and it's not just Mumbai City. It's every CFG club that you see all around the world. I support a team in Europe that is a direct rival of their European club. So
Let's not talk about
let's
this.
not talk about
Indian
that.
football, yeah.
My contract is at stake. No, but they're so meticulous in their recruitment that it is amazing. And like you also said, Samar, that the coach does not do a lot of the recruiting anymore in terms of players.
Yeah.
He needs to have a good team behind him, and I think that's what Sujay also brings to the table. If you look at the entire backroom staff, not just Sujay, but even the under 13 coaches, the under 19 coaches, everybody is so good. Like at the grassroots development that we are doing, it's so well thought of, it's so well planned. Like there is a pipeline of young talents that are just waiting to break into the first team, and we've seen some of them in this season as well. Ayush Chikara is one of them. He's like, that's what good recruitment does. And I know you said don't talk about it, but I will talk about the team that I support in Europe. That's what bad recruitment does, the position that they're in. So, I think Sujay has been a fantastic hire.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the ones in red should probably
Yeah.
give a call to Sujoy. But, talking about the Indian Super League, the first thing is called Indian, right? And I think as seasons go by, though the viewership or the coverage has gone down, we have to give it, right? Credit where it's due. The one good side is we are seeing so many Indian talent out there.
Yeah.
And Mumbai City was flooded with them. Like, so much so that even the depth of it, they had Indian players out there. But whoever's tweeted about it, whoever's watched matches on TV and then go up and say, oh, they always have to talk about Apuya, Changte and Bipin. But all I have to say is come and watch them live. They
Yeah.
are a delight to watch
Absolutely.
live. Like, these
Absolutely.
guys are absolute workhorses. But as fans, like, how, I mean, the way Changte's transitioned, right? But what a way to fit into this team. And I think he adds more depth into all of that. And what a workhorse he is, yeah. Like, he's just there.
I think so. When he came into the team, it was very different, right? Because throughout his career, he's been used as a left winger, crossing left winger. Back when he was in Chennai in the SAF under-20, he's always been on the left-hand side, just the guy running up and down, crossing the balls, and it's never been his forte. It's never been what he's been excellent at. You shift him to the right first season, and he had that half season last year, obviously, and he did really well in some of the games. But this season, the way he sort of just exploded right out the gates, with his link up, the way he's finishing. Durand Cup was incredible, but some of the games that he played, even in ISL, which is, you can't even say it was pre-season. The goal against Hyderabad, I think, which the set piece where he just takes it on his volley first time. It's, I think, one of the best techniques I've ever seen in an Indian player. Then obviously, you talk about Apuya and all. You look at these players and you go, they're all workhorses, but they're all workhorses in this incredible system that makes the sums greater than the whole, basically. And you look at some of the players that even we've recruited for, like, we have on loan as well. They could come back and start regularly. That's how good the recruitment is. That's how good everything is. So the Indian players in this team have been just incredible for me, and I've never seen our side look this good. And I can say they're good and be confident and not get laughed at, I guess.
Yeah, no, and I think a lot of that also has to do with the coaching, because just speaking about Changte, I remember him from his Chennai days. He had a lot of pace, he had a lot of trickery, but the one big criticism that everybody had about him was that his decision making was very poor.
Yeah, exactly.
And that final finish or that final pass was severely lacking in his game.
Yeah.
And we saw a bit of that when he transferred to Mumbai as well. Like in his early days when he was here on loan, we saw a little bit of that. And as fans, we were also like, oh, this is what he does. But this season, I think, and it's purely due to the coaching, and hats off to the entire staff, his decision making has just gone up, not just a notch, but like multiple notches. His finishing is spot on. He knows when to play the pass, when to pull the trigger, who to play the pass to. He's doing some great interplay with Greg Stewart or Jahu or whoever is in that number 10 position at the time. Even with Bheke when he's playing right back, the overlapping, underlapping runs between them, there is a pattern, there is a system that has been instilled into him. And that is not only good for Mumbai City, of course, but also good for the Indian national team, because Changte is going to get that call up and he's going to be a big part of the Indian football team in the coming few years. Yeah. And he's getting that coaching now. He's getting that education now, which is just fantastic. Yeah.
Ashish and Shannon, do you have any favorite picks from basically the Indian lot of the Mumbai City FC?
So I mean, definitely Bipin Singh has had great seasons for us this season as well, and more than any of that, I think what I really appreciate is, since we are talking to what Amogh just mentioned and Samar just mentioned, I think what I've also seen is the hunger to do better. Yeah. You've seen Changte run right up to the 90th minute and not be tired of running, and even in that 90th minute he wants those long balls out there in the wide positions, and I think that's something that again comes from the system that is making you want more from yourself. Whether it is Vignesh coming right up and wanting to take those shots from yards out, or whether it is a Vinit Rai coming in, or whether it's Apuya this season. He's never been someone who was considered as a goal scoring midfielder, but to come out this season and have those, whether the 3 goals or 4 goals, I'm not very sure, but to have those goals under your belt says a lot about the system that you're building in. So I think that's something that we're going to see more often. And also, speaking of system, we were at that Acer DPDL Cup where we watched the under 14. Yeah. And I must say that it's not the hunger only in the senior team. It is something that is being passed on right from the grassroots and moving upward. So it is an entire system that has come in place in terms of instilling these values in these players.
Yeah, just to add to what Shannon said about the DPDL Cup, it was the under 14 side of Mumbai City playing, and it was a 2-2 draw in the final where it went up to the last penalty.
Since you brought that up, that was the match that I was there watching it, and it was a game that came to my mind when Mumbai City and Bengaluru FC went to the penalties. Because please go for the last bit. Just tell us what happened.
And it was
towards
so
the end.
similar to this semi-final second leg. It went up to the last penalty where our goalkeeper then saved the penalty, and then we went on to win the cup.
But there's a story there. There was this person who was part of the playing 11. Like, he was part of the penalty scorer. He went up there, scored that goal, and the keeper wasn't doing that well. I mean, of course, penalty takers are always we put so much pressure on the keepers. But he's like, "Main jata hu. Okay, I'll go take it." So he's like, he took the gloves from the keeper and goes out there and he saves from the leg. Like, so I was thinking if we could do that, somebody from the team saying, "Hey, can I just take the last?" But
Amazing.
anyway. But yeah. Please.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? It's not just the mains. And talking about the main team, I think the foreign contingent has really helped the Indian side as well. Jahu putting balls for Changte, Jahu putting balls for Bipin, and Vignesh coming right from the left back position to take a shot. Even Greg and JPD helping out, Bipin and Changte to go in the right positions and try to score. That's really helped them a lot. And yeah, definitely it's great. Even Vikram is someone that we should talk more about.
Yeah.
But it's great for these Indian lads who are, getting involved so much in such a great side.
I love Vikram, man. I love that boy. He's so happy all the time. Like, watching him play is just an absolute pleasure. Like, you feel good about yourself when you watch him play football. And when you watch him talk about the game he's just played after he's played it, he's just always got a smile on his face. It is just so nice to see.
And speaking of Indian lads, I think a name that we are missing out is Furba Lachanpa. I mean,
I was coming to that.
We've just forgotten that man.
Of course
I mean,
not. I'm not like, I have one point among everything right there, just that his name, right? We're not forgetting.
I mean that penalty shootout against Goa the previous season where he came in. That's the first time we saw who Furba Lachanpa is and what he can do.
Yeah.
And then this season, you see this. I think we, as fans, when we started off the season, we were quite not sure whether we found our first keeper. Whether it was going to be Nawaz, whether it's going to be Furba. And then the way he just, he set himself in the team as the first keeper, and I think the progression has been, for everyone to watch, including the Bengaluru game.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think I can sit for another hour just talking about Lanchampa here. Because I remember meeting up with Shlok, who's who's big shout out to him because he's the one who coordinated this and got it done. But and just talking to him like, dude, can you just get me stats on him? Like can we just have like one whole episode just talking about this guy, because he deserves an episode dedicated to him.
Yeah.
But as much as we can right now talk about him is that, like you mentioned, he just came over and we were dicey who gonna pick up, because even Nawaz had some kind of niggles, right?
Yeah.
Something went wrong with Goa, whatever happened there, and then coming over here, though Nawaz was good, definitely at Goa, but then, it's like he came, he saw, he conquered. That's how Lanchampa was. And, and I talked to one of his mentors who guided him in Gumpe. He's the happiest man ever. Like, to see this guy out there go out. Amogh, what's it like? I mean, I think both the penalties, both the knockouts that went down to there, the keepers were the stars.
Yeah.
But it'd be so unfair to call Lanchampa the not so good keeper, because he was definitely the best to pick. If I had to pick one player who really, deserves probably the overall, I'm not sure if the keeper has ever got it, but he deserves that award, man.
Absolutely. And it is unfair to say that Lachanpa was the not as good of both the keepers in a penalty shootout, because a penalty shootout is a lottery. Like, that doesn't really tell you anything about the game. I mean, on the day we came back from a 1-0 aggregate deficit to win the fixture 2-1. There is not much more that squad could have done. When it goes to penalties, it's anybody's game. But fun fact about Purba, and also from like the club's social media side, is the club puts out a Cisco save of the match every time, right? I have had conversations with Anuj and Dwight about certain games where they're like, dude, we don't know which one to put. We don't know which one. They're all so good. Like, he is so assured at the back, whether it's one-on-ones or whether it's like, it's a tightly marked corner that he has to come out for. If it's a long-range shot that he has to stop, he's got everything in his arsenal, and he pulls out some magnificent saves. And I feel like keepers don't get as much recognition, And when I play like amateur level football or whatever, I play either in defense or I play in goal, which is just a lot of fun because you get to like jump around and save shots. I feel like making a good save is as good, if not better, than scoring a goal.
Yeah.
And I feel like keepers should also start celebrating, doing knee slides and all when they make good saves. Yeah, why should strikers have all the fun? Purva's amazing. He should totally celebrate each
Yeah,
save.
absolutely. I mean, like, imagine that going. Like, I think
Yeah.
players should. I mean, I hope players listen to this episode and take cues, especially the keepers. But like, let's talk a little bit more. I think he deserves a bit more time. Each of you can take time and talk about it because, like Amogh mentioned, right? Keepers don't get that, and I think it's more. I mean, all the more crucial. It's the same thing: scoring a goal and then saving one as well, because that's what the keepers do. So even at the BFC game, towards the end of the extra time, he's kind of had a
Yeah.
huge save over there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what led to the finding the penalties. But each of you take time and have your fan moment of talking about Purba Lachimpa.
Look, I mean, I remember when we signed Lachempa, this was I think 2019, and we still had Amrinder and Ravi Kumar in the squad. And I think it was 21 or 22, if I'm not wrong. We just signed it from Real Kashmir. And it was a huge deal, because this is a keeper who was popping up in the league. He wasn't even regularly starting for Real Kashmir. So there was a lot of trust that was put in him. And he was at this perfect age where he could be mentored by Amrinder Singh and then eventually take over the reins. Now, when Amrinder left, obviously, and we got Nawaz, I felt like Lachempa should have been the one starting, but he has actually bided his time, and he's one thing I think that's really worked for him is his physique's changed a lot. He's bulked up a lot
Yeah.
more. He's more assured now.
Yeah.
And number two, he's worked under some brilliant goalkeeping coaches. First season under Lubera, he was under Juanma, and then he's had Coles last year and Ramos this year. I think they've made him into such an assured keeper that can play the way Des wants, the way CFG wants. It's to see him progress from what he was at Kashmir and even before that. I think he was in Aizawl, if I'm not wrong, to now what he's become now. It's just mind blowing to see any player go through that journey. And when it's with my club, it's with Mumbai City, and you can say that, yes, he's been with my club so long. It's just such a beautiful moment to sort of share with him.
So I think for me it was that game against Goa, the semi final, where he had to come in and make those big saves, and I think he did, and I think he maybe it was also that hunger within him that he didn't want to be someone on the bench anymore. He wanted to put his foot down and say, I am here and I'm here to stay.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he did game after game. I think he kept proving himself worthy of being picked as that number one keeper, because I remember there were days in the start of the games where they kept alternating between Nawaz and Lachenpa.
Yeah.
But eventually he sealed himself there in such a way, because he made those big saves. He was there during the set pieces, especially it's not very easy. And I remember seeing an article just today about how when BFC won that game, he was the only player in the dugout who sat back there contemplating for around 30 minutes post the game, wondering what went wrong. And I think there's nothing to be, I mean, I'm sure I know what he must be feeling, but I think chin up, man. He was fabulous throughout the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lachenpa has been, I don't know how to describe the season that he's had, but of course penalties are always 50-50, but still the game that he's had, the second leg, crazy game, and I think he's the one who's kept us in the game till the 90th minute, went to the penalties all because of him with his saves. And even during the shootout, there was this moment, I don't remember against which player, but the passion that he showed, he just absolutely he screamed his lungs out. And it was so good to watch, like the confidence, the passion. It was just too good of a moment to watch. And although he didn't save that, but that doesn't matter, right? When you're getting to watch something like that, it just brings pure joy out of my, like, doesn't matter the result, but still
Fills you up with pride, no?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just think we've like found a gem that we surely want to keep for a long time now.
But what do you think about the goalkeeping situation now, though? Because we spoke a little bit about Nawaz, and I really want to know what you guys think. Because Purba is definitely number one. There's no doubt about it. We've got Nawaz, who's on the bench, but we've also got Bhaskar, and now we've got Ahan Prakash as well.
Yeah.
Do you think it's time for Nawaz to move on?
I mean, I don't know how much I can really say, but I think it should have been last year. That should have been just sort of moving on for him.
Right.
Not because he's not a good keeper. He's a really good keeper, but he's a very specialist keeper. He was a brilliant keeper under Lubera, and the sort of reason is because he's good with his feet.
Yeah.
he's adventurous, but sometimes in Indian football, when you're not the best, you can concede a lot of opportunities for the other team. He did make some brilliant passes that people don't see because they get overshadowed by the mistakes that he does make. He does put in more effort because he has to because of his height and everything. But I feel like with Ahan Prakash, who's also is so talented, Bangalore boy, and with Bhaskar, because Bhaskar was excellent last year as well in I-League. So I think that in Des's eyes, it may be time for, sort of not Furba, Nawaz to move on maybe.
Yeah.
I think more than that, it's also something to do with the CFG philosophy where they have so many people, in that one position.
Yeah.
So I think more than anything else, it also pushes the others to kind of keep doing better, because whether you look at right wing, you look at left wing, you look at, the CM position, or you look at the centre back or any other position, at least in this squad, the depth that we have is insane. And, you have talented people who are on the, I mean, to find Noguera on the bench, someone who played such a key role with Goa in the previous season, just tells you about how much Des probably and the whole City football group wants to push these players to do better.
Yeah.
So like Samar said, a lot of us were of the opinion that that move on should have happened, but I'm not very sure whether it's also to do. It has something to do with also pushing the person who's at number one, knowing that there are three people waiting in line fighting for that spot.
Yeah.
I think it's like one of those tweets that we put out, right? Football and Japan. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the tweet.
That's it.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
Like a mic drop and that's it. Like end of the tweet.
He's better than you.
Yeah.
He's better than you.
No
matter who's there in the other goal, he's better than you.
Yeah. But coming to like closing points over here, Super Cup, all of that, okay, fair enough. All of that is there. But do you think somewhere, now let's talk about the reality, which is like unbeaten run came to an end, loss against BFC away at Kantiraba. And I think, to be honest, as someone who's also following BFC probably from the start, if not from the start, from a very long time, we've seen this. And knowing Chetri and whatever he is, if he's at his peak and if the team is at the peak, it is difficult to kind of, to break or fuse between that, right? And credit to them, like how they've really turned over whatever the year. But when you saw those guys, like you played at home, you beat Bengaluru, but did you kind of expect, like, what do you think went wrong? Yes, we did see Greg not being there, but then hey, you're talking about the depth. So where did that all of a sudden go off? Maybe Amogh, you can start, and then.
I think it was also there's multiple things. According to me, there's at least two major reasons for that. One is it's been a long season and this team has performed impeccably for 99% of this season. Losses are a part of any team. And they're going to catch up with you at some point or the other. Like, we've only seen one invincible run by Arsenal. That's all that I can think of. I can't think of any other proper unbeaten run throughout a season. And I feel the second thing is Bengaluru's form. Under Simon Grayson, I feel like they took a little time to get into that motion, but they did get into that motion just at the right time towards the second half and towards the second half of the season. But when they clicked really, really well. And they've got some fantastic players as well. It's not a poor squad. They've got good players and they've got lots of experience with Jingan and Chetri especially. So lots of leaders in that squad as well. I feel like those two reasons coming together was the main reason for it. Of course, it's tiring also. The players are also, like, they've spent an entire season with a target on their backs. It is a lot of pressure. Like, even though Des doesn't show it or the players don't show it, I'm sure it's a lot of pressure. And it was just one of those freak sort of results that, it's an overdue result almost. It's one of those things where I was speaking to a bunch of the WCB fans and we were all like, thank God it happened now.
Yeah.
It's better to get it out of the way now than in the playoffs. And, we don't want to go unbeaten till the final and then lose the final. Let's get the losses out of the system now. So, it was just one of those. I don't think it was a case of anything going wrong, but it was just fatigue. It was just lots of games, lots of pressure just coming to a boil almost.
I think 1 year before you guys say one thing, what Amogh said, I don't think I've heard this before, but very surprising to hear Chetri and Jingan in the same sentence. But moving on, he's on the better side today, so maybe.
I feel like I have a special affinity to Jingan because one of my co-hosts on the Corner Flag, Akash, looks a lot like him, but just like a very skinny version of him. Because even he has long hair, he has that weird beard and a crooked nose. So I'm like, तू उसका भाई है क्या? So for some reason that just pops into my head, but yeah.
No, yeah, fair enough. Like, there's no much time for him right now because anyway he's on the better side. So fair enough. I think being on the same line as Chetri is cool. But yeah, go for it, guys.
I mean, talking about that game itself, you see the two goals that came in. One was a far post corner, and right before the corner was taken, we had a substitution when Mandar came in. He's the one marking Sunil. He loses his man because there's loss of focus with him, and then bang, they score. The one against the one that Harvey scored, you see Stalin. I think that was his third ever game that he was starting for us in the league itself. You could see that he gets isolated by a better player at that moment. So from just that game's perspective, you could see that there was fatigue kicking in, the sort of inexperience that in a lot of things. Even look, Des is not an old manager. He's been managing since he was 18, coaching, I guess, but he's been a senior team manager only, I think, twice now.
Yeah.
So that substitution right before this thing really affects. But overall in the season, we Mumbai fans are very pessimistic. That's why we say let's better get the losses up now because we know that we're going to lose eventually. That's just how Mumbai fans are sort of hardwired, So yeah, it was just an amalgamation of all these sort of things that kicked in eventually. And
I think I'll take off from where Amogh left off. There were, I think, two things that could have gone better for us. One is we were playing around with a lot of suspensions. We had players who were on those yellow cards, and Des really had to manage that aspect.
Yeah.
And then there came unfortunate moments where Greg rolled over an ankle. Then you had Roston missed some crucial games towards the end. You had Apuya missing out the final playoff game against Bangalore.
Yeah.
So I think there were times where the fatigue level kicked in. There were other things that had to be managed in terms of suspensions. So all of these things together contributed to that kind of that losing run in the middle. And what I would but still want to say through all of this, I think Maurya tweeted about it, or I think Anant tweeted about it, that one thing that we should really be proud of and talk about is not how the run ended, but the run went on for 18 games, which is not something you see so commonly in football, not just Indian football in general.
Yeah.
So we're taking away that credit while talking about the fact that the run ended. But what about that 18 winning the match run that we really should be proud of?
Yeah.
For me, it's an 18 game winning run, and after that we've lost a few games. It's not a losing run.
Yeah.
When you ask me, we've lost 3-4 multiple individual games. I was talking to Amogh on the pre-match charcha before the second leg, and we were talking about how the first leg didn't. At home, we were supposed to win that, and Chetri made the difference for Bangalore. He came on, he scored, and we had 4 or 5 people marking him, but he's just very sneaky with these corners, right? And we had multiple 20-25 shots, but very few on target. So that's just something to look back on once the game is done for the manager and for the players. But I don't think there's anything going wrong here. We've done our bit, we won the Shield, and it's been a great season. So nothing to frown upon. When you
I think when Shannon, when you mentioned look at the 18 run, when you said especially you've not seen, I think it should be even more celebrated for you guys because in Indian football, because in a week how many matches do they play? I don't think any Premier League team also can do that, right? The frequency of matches that are being played, maybe in a week 3 games or 2 games. Now thankfully it has gone down to just 3-day match week, or it was every day other day, right? So I think with that in mind, 18 is a huge number, right? But for sure. So the second semi-final leg, it went down. I think they've all done it out there. There's nothing for us to add because the team out there gave everything. I'm sure we've all spoken about that. With the ACL coming up, the qualifiers, I think that's the whole, eyes there. Super Cup, yes, but, the whole focus will be on that. Closing thoughts, a favorite moment. Rhetorical question, pata hai. I know the answer would be taking the Shield, but if I had to take that out, what would it be? But, that moment for you that stuck out personally, so from the season.
I have a very distinct memory ready because I think that's when the run began, and I was at the game away in Chennai. I think Joseph and I had travelled to that game, and we were the only 2 Mumbai fans there. And we were at, the club being so hospitable to all of us. We were at that VVIP section because we were the only 2 of us. And we were 2-0 down in that game. And I told Joseph, I said, ticket ka paisa gaya. That's my initial reaction. I was what are we witnessing? Is it good? Because I think we were 2-0 down in the 15th minute. And it was a scary feeling because you're wondering whether 2-0 is it going to turn into a 4.
What a game to sit at the VIP stand and watch.
And and we are surrounded by I think Crivellaro was at that point still a Chennai player, and we had all these people, Romario sitting right beside us, and enjoying the game and watching these two Mumbai fans who travelled all the way suffer.
Like, who are these two kids sitting here? Are they like by mistake?
And watch their suffering and misery. And then we just come back with this turnaround, and we're rubbing it in the face of those. The flags are back in the air, the scarves are all around, and then to end with a result is so good. And then to have that, those screamers, whether it was Vignesh putting in that goal, and such a brilliant game. So I think that is my most memorable game this season.
I think now that I think about it, the Kerala game has to be one of the best games I've seen at home. The moment I entered the stand, I was like 2 minutes late, and I could see the crowd going at it, and I'm like, yo, what the hell's happening there? I was just taking, and then I'm standing there and I'm seeing everyone just going on, and then the first goes in, the second goes in, the third goes in, the fourth goes in, and I'm still reeling in on the last goal. Where the hell am I right now? I'm still recovering from the first goal, and then the second goes in, and it's a game that I've never seen before. It's I've never seen anything like that, and to do it against Kerala. Look, I don't want to be bring them up too much, but it's my favorite fixture at home, right?
Same.
So to do it against Kerala, especially after all the back chat you get if you lose, my God. So just to have that happen, my favorite moment actually.
I have two actually. One at home, the same as Samar, where we scored 4 past Kerala, and in the second half, just as soon as the second half started, you could see some Kerala fans going back,
doing what they're good at. I was just wanting to be quiet, but it had to come out.
So that, and we're all waving, saying bye, metro this way and whatnot. So that's definitely my favorite moment at home. But when we were in Goa for that 5-3 fixture, and we were all at the team hotel after the match celebrating with the team, and I just hugged Des. I just didn't let go. I said I love you, and my eyes were watering. Right now talking about it, I'm getting, man,
Did you just spoil his white crisp shirt? Is that what you're saying?
That was already spoiled with cake and champagne and whatnot. But that's definitely got to be my favorite moment from the season.
I anyway get a lot of flack any which way talking about the team in yellow and blue. So it's okay. I mean, in case Akhil, if you get some hits of our show going down, the reason why.
Reason that happened.
So it's fine. I mean, but the whole thing, I think I have to go back to the state because I am from that state as well. But anyway, Amogh, it's up to you now.
I mean, for me, it was again, like I said earlier on in the show, it was that Kerala game because, see, the thing is, Mumbai and Kerala, the rivalry is already there. But I remember last season in the pre-match churchas when I was doing one with Shivam, we said something like 8-0 or something, and then we lost that game. And then both Shivam and I got trolled really badly. I mean, not really badly. It was
bad. I mean, imagine. Wait. They are, since we're talking about it now, the inside. Like they're very good at getting the screenshots and everything. If they may have not come, then wait for it.
I was really happy.
They will remind you for sure.
I was really happy. I'm getting so many comments and all. This is great. I'm going viral, guys. Engagement. So whatever. So they were saying that the one thing that they say, which I shouldn't really repeat on mic, but they were saying the thing that they say. They know what they're talking about. So then to beat them is always special, specifically for me. So beat them 4-0 in the first 20 minutes was spectacular. The second favorite thing was in the last game against Bengaluru, the game at the arena. Unfortunate loss for us, but there was the possibility of another dog invasion. And I remember the entire WCB just chanting "Who let the dogs out," which was beautiful. And this is what I love about this club, right? Like, the fans have a personality. Like you see Bengaluru fans, you see Kerala fans and all, and they have the numbers, quote unquote, 21,000 in this, cool. But there's no personality. They're just like, let's go Kerala. Like that's all they sing. That's oh Bengaluru. That's all. But like with the Mumbai fans, the chants have personality. There's like thought. There's creativity.
That's just Mumbai creeping out there, right?
Yeah.
It was that's what the case was even at Mumbai FC. The chants that we've had, like
That's
like the whole Rasgulla pe bhari kaun
Exactly.
vada pav. I mean, where can you get that anywhere?
Exactly. So that personality has been my favorite moment of this entire season, and that is something that will go on into the next few seasons as well. Because I remember this season also, I've got a bunch of my friends like Akash from the Corner Flag. He came for a few games for the first time. He's like, dude, I'm going to come for every game next season. I'm like, it's shameful that you don't already. But he's been like, okay, what are they singing now? Oh, what does that mean? And he's getting invested in the whole thing. And that's the beauty of it. Like that's what the WCB is also doing. It's creating this culture, this fan culture that is really unique in Indian football. And it's fantastic to be a part of that.
Hey, Amogh's a much braver man than I am, calling out, Kerala like that. But if I do remember now clearly, the favorite moment that I think I've had in the stands was the Roston Griffiths goal against ATK.
Ooh,
that I
yes.
can't forget. You know, as fans, we used to yearn for that time. Because they used to celebrate. I remember even when we won 6-1 in Kerala, every celebration, the other end, right next to the... I mean, that's what the away stand was back then. So Mira Bahe scoring, doing that punch thing. Then you have Basta scoring and then doing that Ronaldo celebration. But when Roston Griffith scored that goal against ATK, and then when he came all the way to our stand, that for me was the moment when I realized that this is the team now that we've yearned for so long. Because that's connect with the players and the fans was so strong at that moment. I think that's probably the moment that I'll never forget.
I think also to add to that, I feel like that's also something that the club is also doing very consciously.
Yeah.
Especially with Des as well. And the banners that you guys have been putting out for Des, he's seeing them and he's appreciating them. So he knows that this is the stand that matters, right? This is the stand that we are playing for. And I think he's had conversations with the players as well where he said, in the second half, because they always shoot this side in the second half. In the second half, you score a goal. That is where you look. That is the stand you need to go for. So that connect is building, and it'll only grow. And I envision a time where it's not just the cup noodle stand right now, that one quadrant, but that entire arc that becomes a WCB stand. One day.
That's. I think that's already in progress. We started chanting throughout that. Throughout that stretch. But
Just got a cup noodles plug in.
But I'm not. I hope I get it.
I get it. I have my payment is right now. There's a carton of cup noodles in my house. They've sent me at the start of the season. They sent me a massive carton of
You should
cup
actually
noodles.
got it here, right? Like
I should have. Yeah, I really should have.
But talking about that Griffith celebration, and I was there as well, and it just makes you feel so good that this is one stadium. Mumbai has such a stadium where fans can be so close to the pitch, and that's, I think, no other
nothing
ISL.
beats Cooperage, man. I'm still coming up at you for Mumbai FC days, but still, go for it,
But right now in ISL, I don't think there's any other club that's the fans are so close to the
No, there isn't. No.
to the players, and even for the league shield celebration. The captain himself handed us the shield. Like they were celebrating, it was their moment, and they decided to bring it to the fans, and we celebrated with the shield in the stands. How beautiful is that?
That's also content, so but anyway, moving on, of course.
I know. There is a certain Mr. A.T. that is...
who's also a fan, but masquerading as social media manager. But
what
shout
a
out
job
to
he has,
absolutely. Right, but it is a daunting job. He also has to run behind the players. Imagine running behind them, getting video lena hai, aa jao.
Which is why I love my job the best.
Yeah.
I do the pre-match lives, then I'm in the stands watching the game aram se.
No, I think on closing, I know Akhil must be looking at the clock, and I'm sure my editor has a long.
Siju knows what I'm thinking.
Absolutely.
All the time.
Yeah, so my editor also will have a long job. He'll be like, is this a wrong episode? Itna lamba gaya? Are we supposed to break it? No. But that's what happens when the fans are in the house. But thank you so much. I think this was fun, I'm sure. But I have parting two thoughts. I'll ask, like I mentioned, my producer and sound engineer also being part of Poor Guy Was Standing. So I'm going to give him the mic and ask him if you have anything to ask the fans, or do you want to say something, or whatever it is, that as random as it sounds, doesn't matter. There's nothing called random. We're talking about Indian football.
Have you all ever felt like throwing food items and stuff on the pitch? Because that shouldn't happen.
We had a guy throw coins.
Oh, okay, cool.
Also, let's not forget, Des had a plate on him in Bangalore. So that was caught on TV.
Yeah, I was watching a video of how people waste food. So
Yeah.
no, don't do that, please.
Unless it's Kerala, in which case it's all
they
fair
wouldn't,
game.
They wouldn't be there.
They wouldn't be on the pitch.
That's true. True that. True that.
I hope none of them listen to the episode.
I feel like the Dandi march is still going on. they haven't stopped walking.
Yeah. But I had to mention this. I wanted to do that. But when you talk about Blasters game, even I am the one who look forward to that game. I mean, as shameless I am because I'm from the state itself. But doesn't matter. The city has given me a lot. But anyway, coming to the point, is the fact that remember, like I kind of missed this match. I was not in town, but I was in their state. But
Hit him where it hurts. Hit him where it hurts.
But remember the days, I think you mentioned the Chetri days, but even for me, like when I was tweeting about this as a thread, like I mentioned the days under Alexander Guimares, where Forlan, Diego Forlan, Sony Norde, I think the most underrated, the guy, I think even that guy, Sony Norde, deserves an episode because of what he's done for Indian football. Though Mohan Bagan is called as a national club, we will not get it there, but anyway. But that match also, I think it was a 5-0 or a 5-1 where Forlan scored a hat-trick. It was in the arena. I'm like, I'm right there. Like the goal's here and I'm right there diagonally. I have it recorded. I'm like, Forlan scoring for my city against the city I belong to. What more can I ask
more do you
for,
want?
right?
Yeah.
Like I'm also the team that I support. So anyway, with that connection also plays there. But thank you so much, guys. This was absolute fun.
Thank you, guys.
And Shannon, Samar, Ashish, Samar, I owe you more than a pattis because you were a super sub, and I think none of us missed Akshay. None of us did. May he have his FOMO moment for sure. But thank you so much, guys, for coming in. This was super fun.
Yeah,
Amogh,
absolutely.
I'm not thanking you because
No.
you might just see me
Exactly.
calling you again and again.
Yeah. I'm Luka only. I'm more than happy to join you on the Humans of Indian Football.
But we were really surprised to see Amogh, man. So surprised. We didn't know Amogh was coming in. And
no idea.
Okay, now it's bordering on sarcastic.
It is. Thanks to my producer and sound engineer.
Thanks so much. And by the way, great to be here on the best podcast in the world. So
Wow. You two are not there on the second best podcast in the world only. You two escape before we start recording.
where's my invite?
You don't need an invite. You're supposed to be the producer.
So he actually mentioned, and you can keep this. He actually mentioned that we're going to do okay, guys, we are doing a 6 p.m. recording, which we started at 6:34.
Yeah.
Right now, as we end, it's 7:40 p.m.
Yeah.
But definitely you'll be listening to this in your own sweet time.
Yeah.
But he was like, I was a bit dicey. 6 p.m. karega Akhil. Bola, Akhil, you also sit na. We will do it. That's how I bribed him into doing an episode.
Okay, so
Just
that's
buying me drinks after this.
cool. But good to know that now we know what we need to do for the next episode of the Corner Flag.
Yeah.
Cool. That's how we get him in. We'll do a segment with you, Akhil. We'll do a nice segment with you.
I'm on.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, guys.
And,
Thank you so much for
thank
having
you.
us.
Thank you. We'll do this, I think.
I think someone could do it on behalf of all of us instead of just passing on.
I mean, it's an honor to be here on the best podcast in Indian football, honestly.
Honor बोल दिया यार.
चल
कोई
एक
बात नहीं,
कॉर्नर
it's
फ्लैग के लिए
okay.
सेकंड बेस्ट भी बोल देना.
And to have the host of Corner Flag, the second, close second.
Tied in first place
It's
भी
almost
चलेगा.
there. It's
We can be tied for first place. Goal difference is the same. वो भी होता है.
they have the longer name, so they just.
अच्छा.
Yeah.
Only thing this time the first game is played at home.
Yeah.
But no, guys, this was absolute fun. I hope, I think I'm forgiven for having this episode long by my producer and sound engineer because this was super fun. And this is what we always want to do, get the fans in one off so that the engagement booms.
Yeah.
But thank you once again, guys. Ashish, Samar, Shannon, and Amogh, thanks
Thank
a
you.
lot.
Thank you so much.
If you want, listen to this podcast, whatever.
Yeah, if
But
you want, no compulsion.
Yeah, no compulsion.
I
at
won't
all.
come to your house with a gun.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's strictly
Yeah.
optional, not mandatory at all.
But that was it, guys. This is the Totally Indian Football Show, and you had too many voices here. Don't keep expecting that we'll have so much fun in every episode, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to get fun guests. That continues to have. We'll have some super fun guests. Do listen to our episodes, and we are available on all the audio platforms. So tune into the preferred ones. And this is me signing off. You were listening in case you didn't know for this long. This was the Totally Indian Football Show with me, Siju. Thank you so much.